This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
All right, Patriots postgame show. Greg Bedard down on the field. Thank you all for waiting patiently for us to start the show. Greg was in there listening to Mike Vrabel explain what the hell happened here in this Patriots 21-14 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they turned the ball over 5 times, Greg. 5 times, and they still could have won the game. Still could have won it, which is amazing. Before we get started, I want to let you all know this show, as always, is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy on Prize Picks today. Insert your lineups. Use the code CLNS. Get 50 when you play 5. Once again, code CLNS 50 when you play 5. Prize Picks. Run your game. Also brought to you by Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Sign up today. Oh, Bailey's frozen. Sign up today. Get 25 off when you sign off using the code CLNS here on Game Time. There it is. $20 off on your first purchase. Terms to apply. Let's get into it, Greg. I don't know when you start with Rhamondre. You want to start with Drake. You want to start with coaching. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a bizarre game because it almost seemed unfathomable that they could shoot themselves in the foot as much as they did today. So we'll just start right off. You're slicing up the blame pie right now. Where are you placing the biggest slice?
That's a good question. I mean, look, we're 3 games into this, the Mike Vrabel era. And as to this point, it's a team that takes a lot of penalties. It's a team that makes a lot of dumb mistakes. So, I mean, I guess I got to start with Mike Vrabel. I mean, he's not out there fumbling the ball like they did 4 times today or throwing interceptions. But, you know, it's his program. And, you know, I looked at today as almost like sort of 3 segments. Like the opening segment, it started with the coin toss. The Steelers lost the coin toss. The Patriots had a chance to defer. They didn't. They took the ball. They were terrible on offense. They get the Stevenson fumble. They were terrible on defense. They weren't ready to go again. After that, the Patriots pretty much dominated the game for about 2 quarters. Offensively, they were going up and down the field. Defensively, they were getting stops. They had 4 3-and-outs, another one with 5 plays at one point. And then at the end, the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers made a few more plays. The Patriots, Demario Douglas catches the ball at the sticks, 4th and 1. He goes backwards. They turn the ball over. So just a brutal stretch of football for the Patriots. And this is a game, much like the Raiders game in week 1, that they just gave away to a team that's really not that good. I mean, this Steelers team stinks. They're not good at all. And the Patriots lose another home game. They keep losing at home. So, I mean, I guess I got to start at the top, with Mike Vrabel and then sort of go from there.
So that's what's frustrating to me, Greg. And I tend to agree with you because when we take a step back and look at it, the conclusion is going to be, Drake Maye's got to do a better job there. I think he's trying to do a lot with a little around him and probably trying to do too much. Certainly on that last fumble, there's just no reason to hold on to the ball as long as he did. And the interception, you just got to put a little air under that, and that's there. But the conclusion is going to be Drake Maye can play football. Patriots have a quarterback. You feel good about Drake Maye and his future. Mm-hmm. If you're going to win games, he can't do stupid shit like that, but he's still good at football. Yeah. That's the #1 takeaway. You're going to feel okay about it. Rhamondre Stevenson, I don't understand why he's touching the ball again after the first fumble, and it is what it is. But the Vrabel, that's the one thing you can put your finger on and say, it's supposed to be different. If you're going to make fun of Gerard Mayo for his North Star comments, Mike Vrabel's kind of turning himself into that with this running down the sideline, I tackle people and I get on the ground in scrums. That stuff is great. It looks great. It's great on social media. But when you go on the field and your team pukes all over itself with undisciplined penalties, terrible ball management, I don't know where else you go from there. I mean, you got to look at it and be like, this is your show, buddy. What are you guys doing out there?
Yeah, I thought Mike, I don't know when he said it, a week or 2 ago, he set a bad tone when he talked about penalties. Like, he really didn't care. He's like, they're not that indicative of winning. Like, I think you'd want those Alex Austin penalties back. Now, I thought the Carlton Davis one at the end was a little egregious. Yeah. No chance at that ball. So that's a bit of a rough break. But he sort of sets the tone. Talking about Drake, I agree with you. I think Drake's playing a lot better. He looks a lot more comfortable. He's doing a lot of really good things. But I do think that this is very similar to Josh Allen early on in his Bills career. It's like, you just gotta take this with this kid. At some point, he's going to learn to get past it. It could be rough, for a while for him to get by it. But I did think what was interesting in the postgame with Vrabel sounds pretty fed up with it. He had some, he sort of, really went after Drake in the postgame press conference. Not that he wasn't wrong to, with some of the decisions that he made. But it's just interesting that 3 games into this, you see Vrabel, like, he sort of like lashes out. And you think that he would be a little bit more composed. Hey, we're growing, we're going to have some growing pains and all that. But he just like, he needs somebody to blame after these things. And I think it's unfortunate because I think, the undisciplined stuff, the penalties is probably most disturbing to me. The Drake stuff, you're just going to have to deal with.
Right.
He'll play himself out of it. The game will slow down for him like it did Josh Allen. But, you don't have to, hyperventilate after 3 games that, your quarterback who's only started, 14, 15 games in this league is making some crucial mistakes. It's going to happen. I mean, at least he did point out the good stuff, which was good. But, it just surprised me so far.
Yeah, it's exactly. You're looking at like the symptoms of what's going on with the team. The Drake Maye, as you said, you have to roll with that. You have a guy who's essentially a rookie in terms of the amount of football that he's played in the NFL, and also, who didn't have a ton of experience in college, and that was the whole thing. You're living with this. Isn't a win now team, which is you can really pinpoint why it is that you lost this game and why it was so important that Drake Maye do the things he did. Like, that's fine and good, but that's not what we're judging Drake Maye on the whole. It's as you said, there's going to be lumps, and it might be 2, 3, 4 years before he kind of rids himself of all of that. Great quarterbacks make bad mistakes throughout games. 7, 8, 9, 10 years into their career. I do think the Drake Maye criticism has almost gone too far, where people are expecting perfection or 0 mistakes, which is what he delivered last week. And if he goes back to this stuff, and again, they're critical, they're disastrous mistakes. Goal line INTs absolutely murder you. You're driving to take the lead at or around midfield, just take the sack or throw the ball away. Those are obvious, but those are so correctable. You'd feel a lot worse about Drake Maye right now, Greg, if he was inaccurate, if he's missing open receivers, if he's just throwing and he doesn't see the coverage, or he doesn't see, the safety creeping and this and that, and just throwing it right at. He's not doing that. He's making great throws with great touch, extending plays, good feel. He's missing some guys, as well. It's not perfect, but it's far from the problem. As far as the Rhamondre stuff goes, I don't know what you do next here. I mean, you've got veteran running backs putting the ball on the ground over and over again. We're going to listen to Vrabel here. Vrabel talking about Rhamondre Stevenson and what they do, because he fumbles, and then he goes back in and then fumbles in a worse situation, which is at the goal line when you needed the points there. And then Gibson fumbles. I don't know what that leaves you with, but here's Vrabel talking about their kind of conundrum right now with what they do at the running back position.
It's like you sit there and we're so excited about him, and everybody's excited about him. The fans are, and we know what his capabilities are. We got to get him back. We need him. We absolutely need him. You see what he was able to do for us last week, his ability to make some plays. And, again, we'll just have to look at the technique. We'll have to look at the ball security. But we're going to need him. And we need his ability, but we also need to take care of the football. So
I don't know that fans are that excited about Rhamondre Stevenson in general. They just don't want him to put the friggin' ball on the ground. It's that simple. Yeah. I don't understand it. This was a guy, this wasn't his bag. This wasn't his MO. What happened to this guy over the course of the last 17, 18 games where this has become what defines him professionally?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I'm sure Rhamondre is in there right now answering a lot of questions about this, or not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could have chalked it up to, maybe it was the change in coaching, Gerard Mayo coming in, that coaching staff, maybe there was some sort of attitude that sort of changed for Rhamondre. It doesn't seem like there's any consistency on like when he fumbles. I mean, I do think it's sometimes maybe he lacks focus as he's going to the ground. It seems to be more of those than, just dropping them. But there's no question he's got to be better. I mean, I agree with Mike that they're going to need him. It's not like I don't think you're going to cut him during the season and bring somebody else in. You basically ride him for this year, see what happens, try to improve, try to coach it up. And then at the end of the season, you make a decision.
Yeah. But you could survive with Gibson, which I think what they wanted to do. The problem is at this moment in time, everyone's clamoring for it, but you can't survive with TreVeyon Henderson, I don't think, as your number one back. One, he's still nowhere near where he's supposed to be in pass protection, and that's going to keep him off the field. He's just not that guy who you're going to be able to hand the ball to 20 times and pound it between the tackles. I mean, he tried at the end there where they really wouldn't let Rhamondre touch the ball again. Just not able to generate much there.
He averaged 2.5 yards per carry. The concern with him is the beating. Like he's just not going to be able to take it. And I know fans want him and they think it's going to be great and it's going to be like a video game if they put TreVeyon Henderson out there. But that's just not the reality of playing, 17 games in 18 weeks in the NFL against, especially a physical front like the Steelers have. I mean, those guys get after it. I mean, they're not that great, but when they, up front, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Herbig, Patrick Queen, when he gets through, those guys are physical, and that takes a beating. And what we know about TreVeyon Henderson is from his days at Ohio State, he cannot take that beating. So people really need to stop clamoring for TreVeyon Henderson because it's not going to happen. He's not going to last the season if they do that. What you want to do is you want to use them selectively, and really it's Rhamondre's fault for putting the ball on the ground. Gibson's doing what he should be doing. But if you think the answer is more TreVeyon Henderson, I don't wish that on you because that's not going to be a good move. All you need is, all of a sudden he's out for the season with a shoulder injury. And now what have you got?
Yeah. And honestly, this is a byproduct mainly of people just getting the majority of their information from the fantasy community, which is everybody wanted TreVeyon Henderson to smash because he's got game-breaking talent and big playability and all of that stuff. It's not going to work. You might be able to scheme him up to 10, 12, 15 touches a game, but he's not going to be your bell cow. It's got to be one of these other guys. The question is there a big enough of a drop-off between Rhamondre and Gibson where if you wanted to pull the switcheroo and go with Gibson as your lead back, how much are you losing there?
Well, you're losing a decent amount. I mean, what's going to happen is what we could see is Rhamondre is inactive for next week. That means you're going to have to sign somebody. I mean, I think they have Terrell Jennings on the practice squad. That's nobody's solution. I mean, I guess you could promote him for the game, but he's also another smaller sort of, scat back. So you're really looking for two physical backs to take that load, sort of switch off. And then really what you're hoping TreVeyon Henderson evolves into is a guy that you can line up all over the field and get mismatches, especially a wide receiver. That's not something we've really seen yet. That's something that would evolve over the season. But the more time he's got to spend as sort of a lead back, which I don't think they're going to do. I don't think they want to do it at all. So I don't think it's really a consideration. But they're going to have to figure something out because right now it's not working with Stevenson.
No, it's not.
We'll get back to the show in just a minute. Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks offers Vrabel, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Every Tuesday, Prize Picks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25% for Taco Tuesday. All right, check it out. It's that good. Now, Logan Webb, he's a guy, pitcher. He's averaging about 6.7 strikeouts a game so far this season. So you just pick more or less. What do you think? Logan, is he going to 6.7 strikeouts to be exact? Pick more or less. Logan Webb, 6 strikeouts this game. Or maybe you want to go 7, whichever way you want to go. It's that simple. You download the app today, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Other thing you want to talk about is, again, we talked about Drake Maye and what he's able to do with the limited weapons that he has around him. Obviously, Hunter Henry's his safety valve, and Henry was big for him again today. Drake made some big-time throws to him, to Hooper, where he had a couple completions there on consecutive plays. And he's utilizing those guys. You get Booty every once in a while involved. Diggs, again, not able to really generate much of anything, no matter where you put him on the field or how much he plays. Then there's this mysterious Pop Douglas thing where I've never seen two people seem to be less on the same page, and I can't tell what's going on here. You had the one incompletion where Maye had that string of 13 straight completions, and then he misses Douglas for his first incompletion. I'm not sure if Douglas is supposed to sit down there or what. He sails another throw to him earlier in the game. They did get a couple things going. Then you get that last play, Greg. It's easier said than done, when you're watching it on the field, where Douglas – seemingly all he has to do is catch the ball and fall backwards, and he gets the first down. He tries to be a hero, reverse the field, goes backwards, and he takes them out of position, and they lose. Drake Maye tried to put that one on him. Here's Drake after the game.
I wish I would have told those guys, 4th and 1, just try to, catch it and get upfield. I wish I would have told them that in the huddle. Those little things go a long way. But, yeah, nothing Pop did wrong. Just he was trying to make a play. I wish I would, expecting some type of blitz look. I think they played some blitz trap deal. But, I think, shoot, that's this league. You got the ball to, tied up, and, I costed us, and then we got the ball, going down to tie to send it, to overtime. And, that's the NFL. So it's
admirable, I guess, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that that Demario Douglas play I put on him. If that is Steph Diggs, is that Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola? How many tough receivers have we seen here where they know the game awareness, that they understand where they are in the field, what they have to do? And, if that's Steph Diggs, I'm pretty sure he just catches it and shoots forward and picks it up. Demario Douglas didn't do that. I wonder if we could see a situation where Douglas is either down or reduced role, and we do see Efton Chisholm for a while. Not that I think he's any sort of solution, but, I could make the argument that if Efton Chisholm is there, he's built a little bit lower to the ground, a little bit heavier. He makes that play. But I put that on Douglas. I mean, I would like to see Maye get rid of the ball a tad bit quicker, with his motion. But Douglas – has to know where he is on the field, has to know the situation. He shouldn't need Drake Maye to tell him what the situation is. And they just had a timeout. They're standing there. You can look at the scoreboard. No, if I catch the ball, I am leaping forward. I'm not going backwards, and I am picking it up.
And again, it's all, you can't put, the players have to know some of this stuff naturally. Drake Maye is saying, I should have told him. It's lack of situational awareness and football preparedness, which goes back to the thing that you said at the top of the show about Mike Vrabel and the type of football this team is playing. And again, if things don't go well for Mike Vrabel, that whole take advantage of bad football quote that he gave at the beginning of his tenure here is the thing that everyone's going to look at. They're just playing overall bad football right now, which if you didn't know better, I don't know that you would know at times that there's a completely new regime in charge of things versus what we saw last year.
Yeah, like I said at the top, that's the thing that has surprised me the most. I thought, maybe they're not the most talented team, but they wouldn't beat themselves. They'd make the other team have to beat them. Yeah, and that's just through 3 games. That's not the way it is. A couple other things, John, I wanted to mention. I did think that they made some good adjustments as far as the run game. They were getting gashed early on. It looks like they went to more 5-man line. They probably, I'll have to look back, or probably Taylor, who's coming up next, probably kept track of this or whatever. But it looked like they dropped, an extra guy into the box. They played Duggar a lot more. They changed out. They took Christian Ellis out for Gibbons and Mapu. They benched Alex Austin for whatever that guy's name, Charles Jordan, Charles Day, whatever his name is. And also, something that is going to be interesting watching the film, I did not like their plan for TJ Watt in this game. There was too much Morgan Moses by himself. I did not think the offensive line was that good in this game. I just looked at PFF's initial numbers. They had Will Campbell for 7 pressures allowed in this game. It looked like he had a very rough game. Jared Wilson had some rough ones. Michael Wenu whiffed on another run block, up the middle. There's a lot of stuff to clean up. I'm surprised. I mean, it is 3 games in. I usually go by 4 games and then 8 games, but a lot of work to do for this team to clean up.
Yeah, you do have to give hats off to the defense, though.
Yeah,
on the whole, especially after last week, because they were atrocious last week, and certainly we're gonna beat him up last week. You got to give him his props today. Spillane had a good bounce back game.
He was awesome. By the way, we need to mention that he had 15 tackles, 10 solo, and the interception that Rodgers threw right to him. I mean, it was a huge bounce back game for Spillane.
Yeah. So that was good. Landry might be one of the great reclamation project and turnaround stories of the offseason here. So again, credit where it's due. A couple of the guys that they have brought in, especially with Spillane playing well today, great. Milton Williams, obviously, we've seen what he's been doing. So some things that would lead you to believe that all is not lost. But again, I just think you're going to be one step forward, one step back with this team all year long until they can start to play cleaner football. They're just not good enough to do what they did today.
John, they need to stop playing like jackasses. All right. They do that, they might start winning some games. All right. Let's call it what it is. Like, they played like jackasses way too often. And you did not think that was going to be the case this year.
No. And this is about as frustrating a watch as it could possibly get. Again, Greg Bedard here joining us on the Patriots postgame show. Greg, thank you. We're going to say goodbye to Greg, and we're going to bring on Tayler and Mike in a second. Of course, for Greg, you want more of his stuff, check it out over at Boston Sports Journal. Subscribe. What do we got? Is it $7 a month or $50
$7
for the year?
a month, 50 for the year. Yep.
Come on,
Come over
guys.
and join us.
Do it now. Join up, sign up for Boston Sports Journal. Best sports coverage in town, but certainly, without question, objectively the best football coverage in town. Greg Bedard, Mike Giardi covering the beat. You want to check that out. And, of course, you want to listen to the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast right here on CLNS Media Network. They're going to have their breakdown once Greg looks at some of the film